Our final speaker today, and to give us a view from the manufacturer's perspective, is Mark Davies, Global Head of Sales at Harwin. So over to you, Mark.
Thanks very much indeed for that introduction, Joe. Okay, I'm going to talk you through some slides outlining Harwin's experiences through the Brexit transition, the impact of COVID-19 on our business, and our thoughts as we look out for the year to come, 2021. As the Brexit deadline approached, I think the main concern we had, along with probably most companies of our type, was the lack of any detail with regard to the customs requirements and logistic changes. Our two largest European distributors have their European warehouses in Germany, and obviously any interruption in our shipments would impact the supply into those distributors and ultimately the end customers. In addition, the obvious concerns about freight and duty cost increases, additional administration plus potential currency fluctuations were also unknown, and although outside of our control, they could put UK manufacturing companies like Harwin at a disadvantage compared to companies that manufacture within the European Union. However, we are fortunate to partner with the most professional and effective supply chain experts in the electronic component industry, and so we were always confident that we could deal with most of the challenges that Brexit would present. We had a strong order book and knew that those companies were taking their own steps to ensure their inventories were sufficient enough to support their customer demands. Harwin has always been very proactive from the beginning of the Brexit countdown and had taken early decisions to put in place 6 months of raw material stocks plus additional inventory of finished goods in order to buffer any initial disruption of supply. We'd also made sure that our planned factory expansion was completed by mid-2020, which meant that our manufacturing output had already been increased well before the Brexit deadline. This enabled us to make significant shipments before the Christmas shutdown, and we took a calculated decision to suspend shipments during the first 2 weeks of January. We felt it was prudent to have the product in our warehouse rather than potentially stuck in a container at Dover. That way, if needed, we could respond to urgent customer requirements accordingly. Unfortunately, although there has been some excellent work by the freight companies and the customers' organisations on both sides of the channel, the transition has been no better than most people expected. Although there have been some recent improvements, there continues to be delays in most shipments, particularly with some courier companies. If it had not been for the distributors' inventory buffers, I believe the end customers would have experienced even more significant interruptions in their component supply. Look back over the last 12 months, there have been many unforeseen challenges we have faced due to COVID, some very tough and some more positive. Obviously, the safety and well-being of our staff and customers has been paramount during this time, and we have been very fortunate that our employees have responded so well to these major unprecedented challenges. The manufacturing team and office staff of all departments have dealt with this pandemic fantastically well, and we've kept our manufacturing lines going throughout the crisis in order to respond to our customers' needs. As I'm responsible for our global sales team, I'd like to take this opportunity to say how much I appreciate the effort and work they have done during this time and the adjustments they have all made to their working situation. Before lockdown, many people were unaware of how challenging working from home can be, but the isolation that some people have now experienced has been even more difficult for those people who are normally always out and about. They have remained focused, engaged and committed to supporting their customers and the Harwin business, and I count myself lucky to have such a great team to work with. Of course, some of our key markets will remain depressed for some time, such as civil aviation, but as other customers return to full capacity, our project log is healthy and Harwin is well placed to support them as needed. Harwin has a great office environment and our manufacturing facilities are state of the art. We have made significant modifications to the office layout in order to make it COVID safe. We have initiated a one-way system in order to avoid the times when people face each other in the corridors, and all our meeting rooms have strict limits on their capacity and are sanitized after each meeting. Most of our manufacturing areas are fully automated, and so the number of operators is already minimized. However, we have also made modifications in many areas within our manufacturing sites in order to keep all operators as safe as possible. Communication is always a priority, but during these uncertain times, we've worked extra hard to keep all staff informed and updated with our plans and progress. I personally have been having regular team and one-to-one calls with all the salespeople around the world, and we continue to expand our team even during this difficult period. We've also recognised that we need to find new and effective ways to communicate with our customers now and in the future. In some cases, that will be quite different to what it has been in the past, and so we're working now to find ways that we can be more creative and interactive with our customer engagement tools. Well, it's clear, due to a number of factors, that different markets will recover at different rates. Obviously, as I have already mentioned, some markets have performed very well during this crisis, and Harwin has benefited from them. Others, such as automotive, will take some time to recover, and it's difficult to predict the timescales. As we know, the vaccination rollout is moving at different rates in each country, and that will have some impact on the rate their economies begin to open and move forward. This will clearly impact consumer spending and market conditions. However, as we look forward, the rollout of 5G across Europe and beyond will affect many organisations, and the continued expansion of IoT and smart centre applications will now begin to pick up a pace. We see massive opportunities in e-mobility, which our products are extremely well suited for, and we believe that the medical market will continue with strong investment and developments in sanitising and deep clean applications. Projects that have been on hold will begin to open up, and pent-up demand will slowly begin to improve general market conditions. However, the current supply limitations and potential allocation issues on MLCCs and some passive products will have a negative impact on connectivity requirements. Finally, I believe that the next 5 years we will see a significant increase in eco-friendly applications that will emerge and evolve across multiple markets, especially with the change in the political agenda we're now seeing from the US, which will complement the global focus. To summarise, all through the pandemic, Harwin has pushed forward with its expansion plans and continues to progress accordingly. We brought our new auto-turning factory online in July 2020, expanded our Harwin Asia site, and our UK stamping facility is currently in development. We have an exciting new product roadmap with many new innovative products due to be released in the coming 12 to 18 months. Our opportunity pipeline is stronger than it has ever been, and with the support of our customers and first-class distribution partners, we believe that our business has a truly bright future.
Thanks for the presentation there, Mark. To kick into some questions, you mentioned that Harwin has put in place a buffer of additional inventory of finished goods. Has that so far been required?
Yes, the finished goods buffer was extremely helpful when we were reviewing our plans in December. It enabled us to respond to new business quickly and effectively, and allowed us to fulfill customer orders before Christmas without the need to make shipments during the first 5 to 7 days of January. And so I would say yes, without it, it would have been a much more difficult period.
Was the factory expansion delayed at all due to COVID-19? And if not, how did you manage to stay on target?
Well, obviously our factory expansion had been in the planning stages for many months before COVID. So when COVID hit us in March 2020, we were already committed and well underway. However, I must congratulate our manufacturing team for their skill and ability to modify those final stages which were needed to bring the project in on time. They worked really closely with all of the main contractors to ensure deadlines were hit and completed according to the agreed schedule. So a really good job by all concerned.
Thanks, Mark. You also mentioned that the civil aviation sector is likely to be depressed for some time. What's Harwin's long-term outlook for this sector?
Yes, of course. I hope that I'm wrong with that statement. It's a very important market for Harwin, one that we have always supported very well, and indeed we still have a number of significant projects pending for applications within that market. However, it's so difficult to know how COVID is going to impact the public's willingness to start flying again, and the industry has had a very difficult time dealing with the pandemic. When you consider all these factors, it's tough to put a timescale on some kind of recovery. So I'm not really sure if I have the answer to that question.
Has growth in the medical market grown significantly due to the COVID-19 pandemic?
I think the medical market has always been an attractive market for Harwin, with great innovation and requirements for quality components that some companies cannot sustain. However, Harwin is known for its high reliability products, and COVID has simply highlighted multiple applications for us to focus on in the future, and even more opportunities for us to present our products to our customers and hopefully be designed into new applications.
Okay, Mark, thank you very much for your time today and to giving us some insight into Harwin. I'd also like to take the opportunity to thank our two previous speakers for participating in today's webinar and to all our attendees. It's goodbye for now and thank you.